This conference will now be recorded.
I'll put vendor examples. Whatever vendor which is already created, on the same vendor you can do it, or you can create a new vendor and then do this. You'll have to take something like date, transaction, amount, and then balance. I'll take date, transaction, amount, and then balance. Assuming you did the transaction for a vendor on current month only. If I take, let's say 401, or I'll put 01 April. If I take 1st April, transaction, let's assume this is your invoice. Invoice is nothing but purchase, am I correct? Invoice we can understand as a purchase because we're talking about vendor. I will take somewhere around 50,000. I will write somewhere around 50,000. When you're talking about invoice, it is a vendor invoice. Is it positive 50,000 or negative 50,000?
Negative 50,000.
Negative.
It should be negative 50,000. Now let's make sure we will put this in accounting format. And after posting this invoice, what will be the vendor balance?
Negative
50,000. Correct balance.
Negative 50,000. Okay. Let's assume on 2nd April, you did some returns. Assuming I'll put invoice 01. If I have only one invoice, my returns are definitely from which invoice? Invoice number 1 only?
Yes.
Okay. My returns should be either less than 50,000 or maximum 50,000. If I purchase for 50,000, can I return more than 50,000?
Maximum of 50,000.
Right? Maximum I can do a return is 50,000 only. What I'll do, I'll put, let's say, 10,000. Now this returns will be positive 10,000 or negative 10,000?
Positive 10,000.
Positive 10,000.
Positive 10,000.
Okay. After this return, what will be the balance?
Negative
40,000.
It should be negative
40,000.
40,000. Okay. Let's say on 3rd April, I made another purchase, meaning invoice number 2. Let's say this is 40,000 or this is 35,000. Now, what will be the balance?
Negative 75,000.
Negative 35,000
Negative
amount. Negative 75,000.
Negative 75,000. Why we are talking about negative? Because vendor account is a liability. Liability always shows the negative number. Credit balance.
Yes, sir.
Is this right? Okay. On 4th April, if I have returns. Now here I have two options. I can return either from invoice number 1 or from invoice number 2. If I put invoice number 2 return, maximum amount that I can return?
35,000.
35,000. Let's say I'm not returning complete amount, I'm returning only 5,000. This return should be 5,000 positive or 5,000 negative?
Positive.
5,000 positive. Now what will be the vendor outstanding?
70,000 negative.
Minus 70.
Minus 70,000. Like this, when you keep adding different transaction, you need to keep updating the balance. In short, when you're practicing, when you're posting different kind of vendor invoice, don't blindly post the entries. For every invoice, try to understand after posting this invoice or after posting this transaction, what will be the impact on your vendor account. Once we start posting this entry, I will show you balance on each date. I will run the vendor report on this date. I will show the balance. I will run the report on second. I will show the balance. I will run the report on third. I will show the balance. Similarly, on whatever the date you run the report, balance as per your manual calculation, balance according to SAP calculation must be same. In short, you should understand how system is representing vendor outstanding report. Otherwise, when you are working on different kind of reports in the project, you need to understand when your client is talking about different kind of reports, different kind of requirement and all, you need to ensure their process, their expectation, we are in a position to understand. Reason, these are all standard common requirement across all the companies. Yes or no? The way you create invoice, the way you do the adjustment. Okay. The way you do this adjustment, the vendor invoicing, credit memo, all this kind of thing, is it common everywhere or not?
Yes,
Forget about SAP. Everywhere it is common, right? You're purchasing, you're reporting, outstanding calculation, it is the same. Now, if you swap this to the customer, what will happen? Positive balance will become negative balance, negative will become positive. Otherwise, is there any change?
No.
No change. Then what I will do, I'll copy this, I'll put this here. I'll replace vendor examples with customer example. Same dates I will take, same thing I'll put. If it is a customer invoice, 50,000, it will be positive 50 or negative 50.
Positive.
Positive 50 because from customer you need to receive anything that is receivable is a current asset. Asset shows debit balance. Debit balance means positive number 50,000. Right? Now, if your customer had returned 10,000 from invoice number 1, this will be positive 10 or negative 10?
Negative.
Negative 10. If it is negative 10, your outstanding will become
Positive
positive 40.
40,000.
Positive
Instead
40.
of 50,000, we have to receive only 40,000 from customer. Let's say on 3rd April, from the customer, you got another sale, you sold 35,000. Invoice is positive number. Now this should be how much? 40,000 plus 35,000. 75,000 positive. And if you got a return from the customer on invoice number 2 for 5,000, return will be again negative, minus, net amount will be 70,000 positive. Apart from the number sign change, is there any difference here? Do you find any difference other than plus minus a sign change?
No.
There is no other difference other than plus minus sign change. Now everybody is clear, creating a vendor, creating a customer. These 2 points clear. First point, let's say BP vendor. Roles for BP vendor. First role is what?
6 zeros.
General
1,
6
2, 3,
6.
4, 5, 6. And vendor role at company code level,
1 0 0.
it will be FLVN 00. Right. For customer, same thing, BP, and then convert your BP into customer. What roles we need to use? BP is common, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros, and customer role
FLC 00.
FLCU 00.
See,
FLCU00. First 2 points, everybody is clear? Creating a vendor, creating a customer in BP, along with the role name.
yes, sir.
And after this, you need to create the vendor invoice. To create vendor invoice, what is the T code?
F-43.
That's 43.
F-43, document type,
KR.
KR.
KR. Document number, what it will start from?
19 series.
19 series. I'm just updating, is this correct? Just confirm me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now same thing is applied here also, invoice. In short, whenever you look at any document number starting from 19 series, it is understood that it is a vendor invoice. Is that true?
Yes.
Any document number starting from 19 series, you need to blindly understand it is vendor invoice. Universal logic, it is followed in every project. While practicing, don't do any kind of experiments here. You'll have to strictly follow same logic as it is. Now, for customer invoice, T code, which one was used?
That's 22.
F-22.
F-22. Document type,
BR.
DR.
DR. Which
DR.
number you got?
18.
18?
Yes, 18.
18 series. In short, whenever you receive 18 series document, it is representing customer invoice document. Now same logic is applied for customer invoice here also. What entries are missing now? Returns. Return is nothing but credit memo in SAP. Return is nothing but
Yes.
what? Credit memo in SAP. Now let us try to understand this credit memo. I'll log into SAP. Let me just verify if I'm on the right server. AP90, let me check KR. Okay, this is correct. Now, whenever you process any return is nothing but credit memo. For credit memo, which is the T code?
F-65.
MD65.
We are not using a single screen T codes at this moment. We are using traditional T codes, standard transaction code, not single screen, not enjoy transaction codes.
F-41.
F-41. If I go to F-41, what is the heading there?
Vendor
Vendor
credit.
What is the
memo.
transaction heading?
Vendor credit
Vendor
memo.
Vendor credit memo.
credit memo.
Credit memo.
All right. Now, let us look at customer returns. T code for customer returns. F-20 what? 27 or
28.
29? Not 28.
28.
Not 28. 28 is payment.
Okay.
Now, whenever you are not sure about the T code,
F-21.
not 21 also.
We can check the path as well. No?
F dash 27. Okay. Now for customer, the heading is customer credit memo. For vendor, heading is what? Credit memo only. In your regular accounting, you may be using debit note, credit note, debit adjustment, credit adjustment. But in SAP, whether it is vendor written or it is a customer written, what do we call it as?
Credit memo.
Credit memo only. Okay, don't get confused. From SAP point of view, it is credit memo for both vendor and for customer. And before this, what you need to understand is when you're talking about vendor, you're talking about vendor invoice. When you're talking about customer, you're talking about customer invoice. Because without invoice, nothing is possible for vendor. Without invoice, nothing is possible for customer. Am I correct? If I want to do any transaction with vendor, I have to do a invoice or not? I have to do a purchase. Can I do any transaction with vendor? Can I do anything with vendor without purchasing? Is that possible?
It's not possible.
No. When I am purchasing anything from vendor, are we supposed to pay to vendor or are we supposed to receive from vendor amount?
Pay to vendor.
We need
Pay
to
to
pay
vendor.
to vendor.
Pay to vendor.
We need to
We
pay
have
to
to pay
vendor. In short, any payment is a liability that you are supposed to pay to the vendor. We are liable to pay to the vendor. So your vendor becomes a liability to the company. As a result, in the balance sheet, it is represented under liability side. Liability shows debit balance or credit balance.
Credit balance.
Liability shows credit balance. Credit balance means positive number or negative number.
Negative.
Negative number.
Negative number. In most of the scenario, in any organization, your purchases are cash purchases or credit purchases.
Credit purchase.
In most of the companies, almost all the purchases are credit basis. You will purchase now and then you will pay after a week, after 30 days, after 60 days, depending on the terms that you agreed with the supplier. Now, since vendor is a liability, liability shows credit balance, credit means negative, and you will have default posting key for vendor invoice is what? Default posting key for vendor invoice is what?
31.
21.
Posting key for vendor invoice.
31.
21.
19.
You all posted this, right? Invoice posting key. I'll put PK is equal to 31 credit. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Posting key 31 credit. When you are purchasing from a vendor, you are going to credit the vendor account with posting key 31. If you are returning, what are you doing? You are debiting it. Positive number. Positive
Yes,
means adjustment from the invoice. If I put the same sign, it is not an adjustment. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
If I put the same sign again, it is not the adjustment, it is addition. I'm not adding it, I'm adjusting it. When I'm adjusting it, I'll have to put a different sign, meaning the opposite sign. In short, transaction code for vendor credit memo is what?
F-41.
F-41. Document type here.
KG.
KG.
Document type is KG. If I want to look at number range for KG, where I should go?
OBA7. Document type KG.
Right, we'll have to go to OBA7. If I go to OBA7 and if I try to find KG, vendor credit memo, what is the number range?
17.
17. What I'll put here, in the same way, I will put F-41, document type
KG.
KG.
KG, number range 17, posting key
21.
21.
it should be double. Is this correct and clear for everyone? Same thing is applied here also. Right? Now, similarly, if you look at this here in vendor credit memo, if I scroll down, by default, system is proposing posting key 21. By default, system is proposing posting key 21. Okay. Now, from where system is proposing this document type and then number range?
OBA7.
No. When I put a T code, how system is proposing this?
FBN1, sir. That and the number range will trigger.
No.
Document type.
Can you repeat question?
Document type.
When I put a T code, by default, I am getting two values. One is document type, two is posting key.
Yes.
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 How system is bringing this?
Sir, in the document type for the account type we will maintain, sir. Either for customer, vendor, GL.
It's
For this, it
No.
will
Document type
There is
21
a
is
config for it.
debit.
Yield status.
OB43.
sir,
No.
that based on that account type it will bring.
Currently, whatever the posting we did, one is with F-02.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? When you go to F-02, what system did?
Duck type SA posting key 40 will bring in.
Document type? Yes. For example, let me go to F-02. When I go to F-02, sorry, so
This is
I'm in
F-01,
F-01,
right?
for example. Okay. When I come to F-01, there is a document type. There is no posting key here. And if I go to F-02, there is a document type and there is a posting key defaulted.
40.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Similarly, when I come to F-43, there is a default document type. There is a default posting key. We're not updating this, right? Automatically system is proposing, meaning any user who is entering vendor invoice, they need to ensure same type is used, KR, same posting key used, 31, meaning they're not supposed to change it. If it is changed, it is clearly representing at the time of posting, user changed the data, the default data, yes or no? Because tomorrow what will happen when you're analyzing the data, when you're preparing the report, you need to ensure on a daily basis, you will have hundreds of records entered in the system. Is that true? You'll have hundreds of entries, right? On a monthly basis. If I see there are around 15,000 transactions recorded. Out of this 15,000 transaction, if I wanted to generate or if I wanted to filter only vendor invoice, how do I segregate vendor invoices? The only way is to segregate, identify based on the document type.
Yes.
If I am creating vendor invoice, but I am using a different document type, will my report be accurate or it is inaccurate?
Accurate. Will be inaccurate.
It will be inaccurate, meaning while posting the transaction using right document type strictly, it is important or not important?
It is important. Do we have to do the configuration for this, Ajay?
These are
Or is
all
it
standard configuration, standard settings provided by SAP in
Okay.
case if there is any need. There you'll have to do it. If you go to, for example,
In real time
this
project also it will come automatically, sir.
automatically, whatever you're doing now, you're seeing here, these are all same thing in the project. Now, what T code I used now? What config T code? It is OBU1. Okay, this is your OBU1 configuration screen. In OBU1, if you look at F-01, when I went into F-01, I got only the document type. Posting key was blank because in config there is no default posting key. Am I correct?
Yes.
If I try to open, let's say FB01, not FB01. What is it? F-01. AB is here. AB is here. It is coming from this T code. Default document type AB. Any default posting key is updated or it is blank.
It is blank.
It is blank. If I scroll down, here also posting key is blank. System is not proposing any posting key, right?
Yes.
If I go to F-02, F-02 is here. Default document type is SA. You got SA. Default posting key is 40. You got 40 here.
Yes.
If you go to customer invoice F-22, default document type DR, default posting key is 01. Now, this is a standard in every project where you are not supposed to make any changes unless there is a valid business requirement. Reason, these are commonly used in every project across the globe. In the entire world, in every project, these are used as it is. Nobody will change it and you are not supposed to change it because it straight away creates confusion, inconsistency for everybody in the company. Because most of the time you would have heard, you would have understood standard SAP or SAP standard. Anybody heard SAP standard or standard functionality, standard
Yes, sir.
system and all? Meaning these are common everywhere across the globe. You are not supposed to change, not even for testing purpose, not even for experimental purpose. No matter what, don't change it. You'll have to look at it, read it, understand it, remember it as it is, without any deviation, without any experiment, 0% experiment possibility there. Not even 0.01%. Don't even try to let me see what will happen. Don't do it. Now, what I will do, T code for default posting key, T code for default document type is what? Which config?
OBU1.
OBU1.
OBU1. Right? Let me enter OBU1 and then see what is happening here. What is this?
Object can only be created in SAP package.
Right? Object can only be created in SAP package, meaning just like that, the way you do the regular configuration, you cannot change these settings. SAP is clearly giving a caution here, a message. If you try to click on this question mark, you will understand. Now, only create the object after consulting SAP. Only create the object in an SAP package. Is the system telling create whatever you want, or it is telling create only after consulting SAP?
After consulting SAP.
Meaning, if you wanted to make any changes here, just like that, you don't do any changes without knowing the impact of it. Slowly, what you need to ensure, you need to understand what changes you are doing, when you will make this change, how you will make this change, what will be the impact of this change. Just like that, making a change will not work out. You need to understand what are we doing and why we are doing it, what will be the impact of doing it. Slowly, we need to make sure we are getting into understanding these points. Let me press enter. And it is telling table is cross client, it is okay. Now, if I want to change posting keys of F-02, for example, in F-02, what posting keys are there by default?
40, 50.
40 and 50.
40.
Only 40, because it is always referring to first posting key, not the second one, because you can post as many line items as you want, but it is only the first posting key, not entire. It is only this posting key, first line posting key. 40. Now if I try to double click on F-02, are these two editable or not?
Editable.
Yes, editable.
Correct. I can change it. If I change from SA to any other document type, it will change. If I change posting key from 40 to any other thing, it is applicable. Now by default, everyone's mindset is that when you go to F-02, we use GL posting. For any GL posting, SA will be the type. Similarly, any GL posting, you will start from debit and credit. Debit is 40. This is a standard understanding for everyone, majoritarily, more than 90%. Am I right?
Yes.
Now you are not supposed to make these changes. Because you are learning SAP, because you are practicing SAP does not mean you experiment whatever you want. You should know what you need to experiment, what you need not experiment. You will find a different content from different places, but make sure what you need to experiment, what you need not experiment, you need to have a clarity. Blindly, any T code that you find in different sources, you are entering, doing the experiments will not make you understand anything. Instead, it will make you get more confusion. Why are we doing it? You need to understand. Okay, this are we supposed to change or we are not supposed to change?
Not supposed to
For
change.
any standard thing, you are not supposed to change unless there is a valid business requirement. Okay, enter. Similarly, if I look at vendor invoice, which is your F-43, double click on it. For vendor invoice, default document type is KR, default posting key is 31, and you have no control to change it. When I say you have no control, it is not your choice. Don't change it without understanding the business impact, without notifying the impact. Because let's say today you made a change, let's say Y21, let us put Y31, let's put 40 here. Why I need to put 40? If I try to explain the accounting entry, for example, if you take vendor invoice, accounting entry is what?
Expense account,
Purchase account debit,
vendor account.
vendor account. Right? This is what you write. Now, if I look at in this way, whenever you do any accounting for purchases, purchase account debit, vendor account credit. This is what the sequence we follow. Am I correct?
Correct.
When we write accounting entry, first we write purchase account, in short expense account, and then second you write vendor account. Why in SAP first vendor account is coming? It is creating a confusion. Let me put in sequence. Vendor account should be next, expense account should be first. If I put posting key 40 first, this is also okay, but this is your assumption, this is your personal interpretation, but everybody will understand in a different way, right? SAP is telling when you're coming into vendor purchases, F-43, the screen is exclusively designed for booking vendor invoice. Am I correct? Document type should clearly represent vendor invoice. How vendor invoices are identified in the system? Based on KR document type. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That is why by default system is proposing a KR, with which what will happen, you will avoid unnecessary data entered by the user. If you leave it blank, user can put any document type, right? User can get confused, he might put SA also, then your report will go for a toss. Possibility is there. And I know that the moment any user is entering into F-43, by default KR will come. If it is not KR, it is changed to SA. I can clearly tell the user changed the document type in the system while booking the entry. Possible or not? You can confidently tell, right? No, it is not possible. System will take SA in F-43. If F-43 is updated with SA, it is straightforward. The user, whoever entered the data, they changed KR to SA manually. Is that understanding correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Because by default, when I come to F-43, it is always KR only. Always KR. If it is not KR, then it is definitely a change made by the user. So there should be control point, right, in the system. Otherwise, anybody can do anything. There is no control. These are those controls which you should never experiment. Because when you are practicing, if you make unnecessary experiment, it becomes a habit when you're in a project. In the project also, you will try making different experiment which will create unnecessary problem. And KR is here and down below. It is always vendor posting key, because when you're purchasing something and when you're entering the vendor invoice, system is asking, please give vendor number here. System is telling you are entering vendor invoice. In vendor invoice, enter vendor number first. After enter vendor number, you enter what you purchased. First you enter where you purchased, in short the vendor. After that you enter what you purchased. You getting my point, right? This is your accounting sequence. This is your accounting sequence. Okay, purchase account debit, vendor account credit. And posting key is what? 40. And here
40.
posting key 31.
31.
In your accounting sequence. Okay, there is no logic in accounting sequence. Everybody is aware, everybody will tell purchase account debit, vendor account credit. Am I right? Even if you ask any student who does not know SAP, still they will tell purchase account debit, vendor account credit. Same thing if I try to put SAP sequence. This is your vendor account credit and purchase account debit. Is this true? Is this correct?
Yes.
Meaning
Yes.
there is no rule, there is no logic. When you write accounting entry, debit should be first, credit should be next. There is no such logic anywhere. The only logic is your accounting entry should contain at least one debit, at least one credit. Debit amount, credit amount must be same. Am I correct? You should
Yes.
have at least one debit, you should have at least one credit, but there is no rule debit must be first, credit must be next. There is no such rule. It can be in any sequence. Now in SAP, what are we doing? What are we following? This is like posting key 31. This is posting key 40. Both are same other than swapping the position. Apart from swapping the position, both are same, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Next. Now here you need to understand from whom we purchased. This is like what we purchased. Okay. From whom you purchased will be on the first position, and what you purchased is on the second position. That's it. And no such logic here. Here there is no such logic. Here we blindly put, but in SAP you need to follow from whom we purchased. Because you're on the vendor entry, enter the vendor number first. When you're on the customer entry, enter the customer number first. You getting my point?
Is it because 31 is fixed for vendor and 40 can be
Yes,
changed for type of purchase?
right. That's right. Okay. Now, similarly, if you go to customer entry, F-22, document type is DR. What is the default posting key? 01.
0.
01. Yes.
Now, same thing if we try to put here. Customer invoice. Accounting, what I'll do is, what is the accounting entry for customer invoice as per accounting?
Customer account debit.
Customer debit,
Customer account debit,
sales credit.
sales credit,
Customer account debit
sales
Sales
and
account.
sales account credit.
credit.
This debit credit according to SAP is what? Debit is PK01, credit is PK40 or PK50?
50.
50.
50,
50.
right,
50.
50. I put this a little here and here. According to this, what we will do is, in SAP also, same sequence or any change?
Same. It will be same
Same
only.
sequence.
Same.
For customer, it is the same. Same posting key and logic is, customer means to whom we sold, and this is like what we sold. Yes or no? Now, where
Yes.
there is a discrepancy, where there is a logic change, sequence change, is it for vendor or is it for customer?
Vendor.
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 It is for vendor. In short, in SAP, you have GL screen, you have vendor screen, you have customer screen. Am I correct? And in your accounting also you have GL accounting, vendor accounting, customer accounting, asset accounting. Asset we have not touched yet. In short, this is nothing but GL, this is AP, this is AR, correct? This is GL, this is AP, this is AR. In GL, you have, let's say, first and next. In GL, first is always a GL. In vendor, first is always vendor. In customer, first is always customer. Next, it can be anything. Am I correct? That is what you are able to observe here. In short, when I say this, first I'll go to GL. F-02. I am referring to the T code that we discussed so far. If I put this AP90, GL first is what? GL only. For GL, first is GL only. By default, the system is proposing first line item GL or any other thing. Which T code you find on the first line item? Which posting key?
Debit.
I'll
GL
put
code.
the
GL
default.
only. It is in GL only. Okay. I'll put any GL. Okay. You can change this. There is no rule you should follow 40 only. You can change it. But normally we don't recommend it to change it. We follow the same. Enter. If I put enter, second one is there. For second one, is there any posting key or it is blank?
It is blank.
It is blank.
For second one, it is blank. That is why the next one we have updated anything. Depending on the requirement, you can put any posting key on the second one.
Yes, please go on the mute. Whoever is on mute, please go on the mute.
Ajay, system will not throw error if we give any like a wrong posting key.
It will not give any error because the entry is a manual entry, right? As a user, we need to understand what are we entering. System will only verify one debit is there, one credit is there, debit amount, credit amount is matching. That's it. Whether the account is correct, incorrect, the system does not care because
What
system
about
does not
the
know accounting, right?
what about the document type, like you said before? For
This
GL,
is,
we give essay.
yeah,
Purposefully, if anybody gave like KR or anything, the system will not throw error.
no, it will not throw error. It will accept any document type in any screen. The only point is you need to understand that by default F-22 will take DR. In F-22, somebody posted some other document type. It means clearly somebody changed while posting TR to KR. Yes or no?
Yeah.
That is what it represents. Meaning we need to understand by default each T code will represent this default posting key, this default document type. From where it is coming? It is coming from the config.
Yeah.
Meaning user cannot change this default parameter. If it is bypassed, some other thing is used, it represents user had changed while posting the entry. Tomorrow user will come back to you stating, no, how come system is taking like this? This is not correct and all. Because the user might have changed manually, unintentionally, or user would not have noticed, and later they come back, how system is accepting like this? Then you need to have something to prove to the client, right? You need to tell these are the control points which are inbuilt in the system, and you need to prove to the client. What you will do, you will probably go to a screen. You will tell, see, if you go to this, by default it is always DR. It is possible to update with any other document type only if user changed DR to SA or any other thing. Meaning, in this case, user had changed manually. How you will get to know? After posting the document, that posted document will tell the user who posted the entry. That we will see later on. But at this moment, understand, posting any entry, default posting key, default document type are always SAP standard. 2 points. First, you need to understand. After that, when you are looking at this GL screen, vendor screen, customer screen, GL is always a standard because in GL there is nothing called GL always shows debit balance, GL always shows credit balance. There is no such logic, right?
Yeah.
Because your GL can be asset, your GL can be liability, your GL can be expense, your GL can be income. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. All
Now
include.
asset shows debit balance, liability shows credit balance, expense shows debit balance, income shows credit balance. So we cannot come to a conclusion GL means one. GL means everything. Depending on the nature, debit credit sign will differ. So what system will do? By default, it will represent debit for GL. But when it comes to vendor, it is based on the nature of transaction. Vendor invoice, vendor credit memo. Customer invoice, customer credit memo. If you're on vendor invoice, invoice means vendor debit or vendor credit.
Credit.
Vendor credit.
Vendor invoice means vendor credit. Vendor credit means posting key
31.
31. If you see the T code, this one, F-43, you can see posting key 31 by default.
Yeah.
If anybody changed, user changed manually. Similarly, if you go to vendor credit memo, enter vendor credit memo, T code F-41, document type KG, posting key 21. Meaning, anybody who is looking at the reporting, if I want to look at invoices posted, I will straight away go to KR. If I want to look at adjustments posted in the vendor account, returns posted in the vendor account, I will straight away go to KG.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you look at customer invoice is what? F-22, DR document type 01 posting a key. If you go to F-28, sorry, F-27, credit memo, DG and 11. It is straightforward. In the customer screen item is always customer. In the vendor line item, first line item is always vendor. Is that correct? Is that clear?
Yeah.
And for invoice, for credit memo, respective document types are there that you need to understand. All invoices related to customer or related to vendor will end with R. DR, KR. R is representing invoice, D is representing a debtor, customer, K is representing a creditor or vendor. Yes or no? Similarly, when you look at credit memo, DG, KG. D is representing a debtor, customer, G is representing a credit memo, KG. K is representing a creditor or vendor, G is representing a credit memo again. Logically, you need to start understanding. Tomorrow, somebody might ask, how do you differentiate vendor invoice, vendor credit memo? Your user only might ask, your client might ask. You need to tell them, this is how you need to remember. You cannot tell them by heart it, right? We need to make them understand logically how to remember things. Now, once these points are clear, when you come to SAP, make sure these entries you are able to represent as it is. Now to update it, for customer invoice, T code is F-22, document type DR, number range 18, posting key what? For customer invoice,
01.
01.
01.
01 is what?
01.
Debit.
Debit.
Debit. Customer debit.
Customer debit.
I'll put same thing here. And when it comes to customer credit memo, T code
F-27.
F-27. If you go to F-27, document type in F-27,
DG.
DG. How do I know? Okay, for DG, posting key is what?
11.
11.
How do we know what number range will get generated for DG? Where we should go?
OBS.
BS7.
OBS7.
OBA7. Go to OBA7 and then go to DG. So click on it. What number range?
16.
16. The other parameters on the document type, I will make you understand as we move forward. At this moment, they are not required. It is 16. Now I'll come to Excel sheet. What I'll do, T code is F-27, document type
DG.
is DG, number range
16 star.
16 series, posting key
Sir, number range is 16.
11.
16. 17 answers.
number range is 16, posting key
11.
posting key is 11,
11.
which is credit.
Credit, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Alright.
Yes.
Now same thing, I will put this here. In short, whenever you are doing any posting to vendor, whenever you are doing any posting to customer, make sure you have no confusion with transaction code, posting keys, document type, and here strictly there should be no confusion. The way you know your name, in the similar way you should know these points. Never you should have a confusion here. When your user is telling that this is not happening, that report is not working, this is inconsistency, XYZ reason, whatever, you don't go to anything. Just look at the document number range. What is the document number? 18 series. 18 series meaning what? Customer invoice. '18 series is what? Customer invoice or not?
Yes, it's a customer invoice.
You need to understand. Customer invoice, okay, it should be one debit. Document type should be DR, posting T code must be F-22. These points should automatically strike your mind. Not necessary like an end user, I will open the document, click on header, see this, see that. That end user will do it. But as a consultant, you should know by looking at the number, you should know what it is. Meaning you should only know the high level parameters for every transaction. We are not end user to get into detailed transaction level for the analysis purpose, right? Who will do that? User will do it. Client will do it. What entry is posted, why this is debited, why this is credited, why this amount, it is end user activity, they will do it. But as a consultant, you should look at the high level parameters, whether they are strictly followed or not. Reason, tomorrow when you work on different functionalities, you will be building the logics on these parameters. If any user can post any entry, then how I will get to know what invoice values is posted? For example, these 4 points are clear. Customer invoice, vendor invoice, customer credit memo, vendor credit memo. These parameters are clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
To have the clarity, you need to write down somewhere in your Excel sheet, in your notebook. Once you look at this Excel sheet, write down your own example, it will get registered in your mind permanently. But at this moment, make sure you are able to follow me. Now what I'll do is, let's say,
Ajay, one question. If you see the risk, even if your posting key is not correct, your GL code is correct, your financial reporting will be right. So even if your posting key is not correct, so your financial reporting like income statement and balance sheet cannot go wrong. Only the subledger and the subsequent MIS may not give the complete information, but your final reports will be correct because your GL code is correct, no?
right. But in the respective vendor account, customer account, it will create confusion.
Yes, that is the
Because
point.
for
Yes.
GL, yeah, for GL you have only 2 posting key keys, one for 40, one for 50, in short debit credit. But when it comes to customer vendor, you have so many posting key keys, 1, 2, 3, 4 until 19. Similarly, 21 until 39.
Traditionally, we are not used to have so many posting keys. Like we only know debit and credit. SAP is telling us to remember so many posting keys.
So many, but manually we will use only 2. All the other things are updated automatically. But whenever you enter any transaction manually, 111 for customer, 2131 for vendor, straightforward. The other things, whatever you have, are used automatically by the SAP. That when we start entering different other transactions related to vendor customer, I will make you understand how different posting keys are coming into the picture and why they are coming. How they are coming, I will make you understand with practical postings. Now in scenario number 1, what I'll do is, let's say I'll put purchase, sales, payment, receipt, sales, expense. Okay, like this I have different things, 100, 100, everywhere I'll put same value, 100 only. Okay, now I have a requirement. This is just an understanding purpose. I have listed only 7 entries, but in a real environment, do you have only 7 entries or you have so many entries? If you take one day, minimum 100 entries every company will do on a daily basis, yes or no? Even a small company?
Yeah.
Even if you take a small company, on an average, 100 entries are possible or not?
Yes, sir, it's possible.
Yes, sir.
Easily possible. Now, we are talking about a company who is using SAP. Any company who is using SAP, is it a small company? Is it a big company?
Big company.
Big company. Big company.
It's a big company. So definitely, even if you take a single day, the transaction count is more than 100, maybe 500,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. depending on the size. Now, out of so many entries, it is easily possible that you as a business owner, you as a user want to know how many purchases we made today, how many sales we made today. It is required or not required?
Required. Yes, required.
Right, required. Now, for an example, I put only 7, assuming you have multiple records. The only way to identify the number of purchase is typically based on the document type. I'll not go into each transaction, highlight, okay, this is purchase, okay, this is purchase. Do I keep highlighting and then doing a total here, or in one click I want the data?
Yeah, one click we need the data.
You need the data just by one click.
Correct.
If it is not possible, then there is no use of spending so much amount in SAP, right? If I have to do it manually, I will very well do it in Excel sheet. Am I right?
Correct. Correct.
If you are not getting the detailed data, if you're not getting refined data quickly, then there's no point somebody is investing huge money in SAP, right? And there is no point somebody is working as a consultant who is not able to make the user business understand how to use the system, how to make sure their day-to-day activities are simplified. Let's say how many purchases currently? 200.
Yes.
How many sales? If I say purchases this color, and then if I say sale with another color, sales is here,
200.
sales is here. This is also 200. But since there are only few entries, you are able to easily match. There are 5,000 records. Will it be so easy? If you have 5,000 records, can I directly do like this? Purchase? No, right? One, two, I can do it. If there are multiple, I cannot do it. Definitely, I need to depend on a logic, because when you generate a report, you're not looking at the data, you're only looking at the output. Is my statement correct?
Correct.
When you're generating any report, you're not looking at what is happening in background. You're only getting the output on the screen, and you're directly going based on the output, and you never know how this output is coming. If the logic is incorrect, output is also incorrect. Yes or no? And you need to ensure all these points, all these criteria, parameters are in place properly. Only then the reporting will have clear representation, else reporting will be wrong. If I say all my purchases are posted with, let's say, KR, all sales should be posted with
DR.
DR. What if both purchases are KR, correctly posted? Okay, but some user unknowingly they put sales in SA. System will allow the entry, but my sales report will show how much value now?
100.
100.
There is no problem in data entry. Everything is entered correctly. Everything is entered correctly. If I go based on sales GL, I will get 200. Am I correct?
Yes.
If I look at based on the sales GL account, I am getting 200, because here I am looking at GL account, not the document type. Now, when type, I'm not getting the right data because there is some inconsistency. Now, these are all because of data entry mistakes, user mistakes, and these things you need to ensure control points. Validations, control points is what you need to understand in any process. Meaning, initially what we do while learning SAP, while practicing SAP, we will blindly follow the standard procedures, whatever you are understanding. But slowly you need to apply the same logic in a practical environment. In real environment, users are posting? No. Some user may post different mistakes, right? Certain users, even if you tell 100 times, 101 time again the same mistake they will repeat. And you cannot do anything, right? You'll have to give the solution for it. Meaning you need to understand why these errors are happening, how I can prevent this error. That's where your consulting skill will come into the picture. That's where your understanding will come. That's where your experience, your expertise will come into the position. When everything is smooth, there is no work for a consultant. When things are working in a different way, when different issues are happening because of different reasons, you need to ensure how I can cut down. Not necessarily overnight, but you need to think through it. What is the client business process? How users are posting? How many users are there? Is there anything that I can train the user? Is there any manual that I can create? Is there any recording that I can create and share it with the user? Or is there any control that I can build in the system? Any validation I can put? Different points, slowly we need to ensure that these are taken into account. And as a consultant, we need to make sure these are the improvement points, control points that you will build in. Tomorrow when you attend an interview, somebody might ask what control points you have while posting vendor invoices, or what are the control points are in place in your current project. Then all of a sudden you cannot be blank, right? You'll have to talk at least a certain 1 or 2 points. They might put these questions just to check whether you are connecting the point or not. Your answer can be incorrect, it is okay, but if you're connecting the point, talking some relevant stuff, they're okay. Because when somebody is giving you an opportunity to work as a consultant in their project, in their company, be very practical, be very realistic. They want somebody who can really manage. They want somebody who is really skilled, and ensure you are in a position to prove your skill set. Okay. And here you need to make sure document types while posting any transaction are properly followed. And here if you see T code OBU1, in short standard SAP configuration, is clearly defining document type, posting a key in every transaction code wherever possible. And do you have any new entry option here?
No, sir.
No new entry option. That's where when you open OBU1, system is telling object can only be created in SAP package, meaning you cannot create things on your own. That's what system is telling. That's where there is no option to create a new entry here.
Ajay,
Right?
FB50, FB60, those are all transaction codes, right? So that
Right.
is not included in this. Why?
Those are not based on the T code, not based on the posting keys. If you go to FB60 and any single screen, you'll not find it posting keys there. There you have to choose debit credit, not posting key.
Oh.
There you will enter only one side of the accounting. The other side is defaulted. Okay. Those I will come shortly, because currently I am showing only the traditional T codes, because when you work on any BDC, any kind of LSMW later on, you cannot record the screens of single screen like FB60, FB70, FB50 cannot be used for a recording, cannot be used for your BDC and all. You'll have to strictly use this F-43, F-22, these only you need to use. Okay. Now come back. Now if you come here to the same example again, while booking the entries, you are supposed to focus on all these points apart from what entry you are posting, because everybody is clear: vendor account debit, customer account debit, vendor account credit, customer account credit, where debit is happening, where credit is happening. If you write 1 or 2 accounting entries from the basic customer accounting, from the basic vendor accounting, almost all everybody is comfortable just with a minimal effort. Am I right? When customer will be debited, when customer will be credited, just 10-15, maximum 30-minute effort. Take a pen, paper, write down. One time effort, you should not have any confusion there. Once that is done, look from SAP point of view, how system is working on this debit and credit in SAP. when I'm booking any invoice, where I'm supposed to book this invoice. Now currently I have listed invoice, I have listed a credit memo. What document type I am using here?
KRKG.
KRKG and DRDG. And these
correct.
are, right, these are referring to this. For example, first let us look at invoice. Okay, invoice. One is FI, one is one is SD. If I'm looking at invoice, I have FI invoice, I have invoice, I have SD invoice. I'll put FI invoice, invoice, last one SD invoice. This clear? Look at only the invoice. In invoice, how many categorizations we have listed?
2. Debit and credit.
3.
Invoice categorization 3. FI invoice, document type is what?
KR.
No.
KRKG for vendor.
FI invoice, let's say vendor is KR, customer is DR.
DR.
Invoice,
RE.
RE. SD invoice,
RV.
RV. This you need to understand. What is this? You will understand as we move forward, but at this moment, since we are talking about invoice, it is always better you add these points at the beginning itself, because when you are looking at invoice now, you are freshly looking at invoice. When you add different points at this moment only, later on when we talk about all these points, it is more easy for you to connect, relate. Because one time when I tell RE, when I say this is all over, practically it is not possible for anybody to understand. Make sure we will understand the different points from now onward, though it is a topic which we will be doing maybe after 1 week, after 1 month, after 2 months, still we will ensure we are getting familiar to the different connected topics, different connected terminology. And the same logic we don't apply for the credit memo. We will only apply for the invoice. Credit memo is common because all the adjustments majority we will do it through accounting. All the accounting adjustments are KG and then DG. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
KG and
For
DG. And in case if any returns are coming from any returns are coming from ST, that I will make you understand when you're on ST integration, integration with a practical scenario. But at this moment, adjustments, you only understand FI.
Sir, for FI reverse KA.
Reversal, we're not referring at this moment. Okay, for adjustment, in case if you need to adjust anything in vendor, you will do it with KG. Customer, you will do it with DG. Is this correct? Adjustment is nothing but credit memo, right?
Yes, sir, correct.
Any adjustment, you will do it with KG. These are the standard terminology. There might be minor changes, but make sure these are the standard terminology, standard functionality used across all the project. There might be minute deviations, but make sure you will always follow the standard procedure which is followed in most of the projects. Once these are clear, next thing you need to understand reports. Next thing you need to understand reports. When you're talking about report, you're talking about customer, you're also talking about vendor. You're supposed to look at customer outstanding. You're also supposed to look at vendor outstanding. Am I correct? what is my customer outstanding, what is my vendor outstanding. Same terminology we will be using in our day-to-day life also. Outstanding bill, outstanding pending and all. Customer outstanding means receivable or payable?
Receivable.
Receivable.
Vendor
It's
outstanding means
payable.
payable. On a generic note, whenever you look at any customer report, you are supposed to get positive balance or negative balance.
Positive balance.
Positive balance.
Customer
Debit balance.
Positive balance. Yeah.
Positive or debit balance. Am I right?
Debit.
Vendor
Correct.
Credit balance
Negative.
or negative
Credit
balance.
balance.
should get
And
negative
negative.
or credit balance. Is this right? Meaning, when you are doing a testing, or when you are in UAT sessions, or when you are looking at any vendor report, customer report, for any reason, no matter what, you are not supposed to look at every transaction one by one, because you are not a user. Don't look at the system like a user. Don't analyze every transaction like a user. You have end users in every organization, in every project to take care of it. Am I right? And don't do end user activities. Do consulting activities. Understand the system the way a consultant has to understand. If you look at any customer, on an average, customer account should always show positive. Any customer showing positive, I don't get any kind of a confusion. I don't get any doubt. But if I look at any customer where my customer balance is showing negative, it is suspicious or not?
Yes.
I will see why customer account is showing negative. Ideally, it should not. If I look at any vendor account is showing a debit balance. Suspicious for me, why vendor is showing debit balance? Right? I will see whether it is genuine that the vendor account is debit or any mistake happened. Because ideally, as per accounting, vendor account should always show credit balance. Customer account should always show debit balance. The same fundamental is followed everywhere. If you look at any reporting, anybody is reviewing any account statement and all, nobody will go to detailed account, right? Everybody will see the closing balance only. And they'll say that, okay, that because they know on an average, because it is their business, they understand what will be the expected output, what will be the approximate figure for each account, for each vendor, for each customer. Everybody is aware. Because day in, day out, they're dealing with these transactions. They are having approximate figures. Same example, if you take your bank account balance. Even though you're not going to account statement, you're not going to bank every day, but on an average, you have an idea, okay, my bank account balance is currently 25,000. So suddenly, if I see that 18,000, suddenly if I see only 2,000, I am surprised or not? Because I know what is the approximate balance of my account. Yes or no? Suddenly, if there is a huge variation, I will get confusion, I'll get stuck, I'll go look at the detailed statement, the transaction listing. That is what we all do, right? Because we know what is the expected balance in our account, as we know the nature of transactions that we are doing. Similarly, in every project, in every company, users, clients, they know what will be the expected figure of every account. Accordingly, they will see. Nobody will go in depth into it. Nobody will go in depth. For that, you have the dedicated end user. After their analysis, they will publish the reporting. At that level, if they get any doubt, if they get any queries, they will reach out to the consultant, meaning you. They might say that this report is giving wrong value and all. Then any report that you are looking at is based on logics. Based on what? Every report works on based on logic. And you need to understand this logic. What report are we referring to? How the data is coming in this report? What is to be included? What is to be excluded? And how I need to show the output. Am I correct? If you are able to understand the logic, it is fine. Lokesh, can you please go on mute? If you are able to understand these logics, it is fine. If not, there is a problem or not. Now, what I mean by saying a report is, if I go to any report, I will explain the report in tomorrow's session. If I go to any report, for example, this report, execute the report, I am getting some number. Are we supposed to understand the output or not? Or if I run the report,
Yes,
I got the output, it is okay. Output coming means the system is working. Output coming means the system is working. But how you will evaluate whether system is working correctly or not? By looking at the data. You have to look at the data, understand the number, and make sure, yes, it is working fine. Otherwise, we are not understanding. Meaning, why we are talking these points at that moment is, going forward, you need to ensure when you are generating any report, you are understanding the logic behind the report, how each report is working. That is the reason I did not execute reports properly so far. Because if I show the reports, if I tell you to run the report, you will post any amount, you will run any report, you will feel output is coming, it is working fine. That is not correct. Output will come. If there is an entry, there is an output. But how do you verify the output is correct or not? Only when you know what is your input. Who is posting the entries in your company code while practicing? It is you, or it is me, or anybody else?
End user will post.
In your practice,
we are posting.
We are posting.
when you are practicing, who is posting? In your company code, somebody else is posting, or we are only posting?
Yeah, we are posting.
We are only posting. In short, Abid, can you please be on mute? Those who have background noise, please do not unmute. Okay. For example, when you are practicing, you are posting the entries. If you are the one who is posting entries, it should be you who must know what should be the output. Only you can validate whether the report is correct or incorrect.
Yes, sir. We will
In short,
verify.
while booking the entry, be careful. Don't put any number that comes in your mind while booking the entry. That's the reason when we did this, we have listed some amounts like this, and then we calculated balance. Reason why we calculated balance, when you run the report on 1st April, your report must show this balance. Same report, when you do it on 2nd, it should show this balance. On 3rd, this balance. On 4th, this balance. If I do the report on 1st March, then what should be the balance? I will make you understand the different dates, how system is working, how numbers are getting updated. Because there are various reports, different things will be done in a project, which we need to slowly understand. Otherwise, what will happen? In the project, once you join, requirement, whatever you are getting from the client, issues, whatever the users are facing, improvements, whatever your user is expecting, we may not be able to meet the expectation. At least if you are able to understand, if you are able to talk in a convincing way, the other person, let it be your project team or let it be your client, they feel comfortable, they can trust that, okay, this candidate can deliver, this candidate can solve our problem. If you are struggling to understand their requirement, they will also feel uncomfortable, yes or no? No matter how close you are to the user, at the end, they are answerable to their management, and your project team is also responsible for delivering on time. Am I correct? So your friendship, nothing will work here. You need to ensure you are in a position to perform, and make sure these points, when we start understanding from the beginning, things will work in your favor. You might struggle at the beginning, but as you move forward, you will feel that it is simple, it is easy, you are able to understand. Because you are not looking at basic level of posting the entries and all, you are trying to understand in such a way that right from day one, when you go talk to anybody in the project, you you are in a position to manage, maintain confidently. These points you do it. Only the invoice, only the credit memo. We are not posting any entry at this moment. Okay, I'm not posting any entry at this moment, and I'm not generating any report at this moment. All I want you to refer today is go through this Excel sheet, understand the invoice, understand the return, calculate these balances, and make sure transaction code, document type, number range, posting key, you are clearly understanding. For vendor, for customer, T code for creation, roles you are clear. And after that, this is sequence. Why like this? Sometimes people will ask this kind of a question also in your interview. While booking vendor invoice, why are we giving posting key vendor first? Why can't we give GL account first? What is the logic behind it? Because tomorrow if somebody wants to really check if you know the subject or you're just talking, then they might put these kind of a questions. And if you tell I don't know, I never thought this kind of answer they don't expect. Because when you're attending interview, the other person can ask any question, right? Possible. And we need to ensure at least relevant answer you're in a position to give. Wherever possible, you need to ensure you are improving your skill set, you are increasing chances of getting selected most of the interviews that you attend. Okay, these points you do it for now. Tomorrow what I will do is we will understand payments. This is what we will do tomorrow. When I say this, payment, for customer how payments are recorded, for vendor how payments are recorded, I will make you understand it tomorrow. Accordingly, you will have a clarity. Now, so far what we did, we understood invoice for customer, we understood invoice for vendor. We also understood adjustment written for customer, adjustment written for vendor. After invoice, after adjustment, balance amount whatever you have, either we need to pay or we need to receive. Is that true? Balance amount whatever you have from the customer or from the vendor, we need to ensure we are receiving it or we are paying it. How do you do it? Because to a customer, to a vendor, there may be multiple transactions. How do we make sure invoice payment relationship is maintained? And how you will receive, what will be the mode of payment? Then we will start understanding what is cash accounting, what is bank accounting. So far, we did not post any entry to cash, any entry to bank. Am I correct? Other than those dummy entry for your TB upload?
Yes.
Because whenever you make any payment, you will pay money to somebody, right? A company or a person? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Whenever you
Organization.
receive money, you will receive money from a person or you will receive money from an organization. So a person or an organization is always a customer or a vendor. Now, since we are now at a position where we are talking about customer, we are talking about vendor, we understood purchase, we understood sale. After purchase, we need to pay. After sale, we need to receive. Then we will start understanding what is cash, what is bank, how cash entries are recorded, how bank entries are recorded. Any cash, any bank, it is all related to money, monetary values. And cash amount is subjected to reconciliation or not? Are we supposed to reconcile cash balances or not?
Yes, sir. We need to do cash
Right? If you
approvals.
see, whoever is working on cash counter, you see them frequently counting the cash. Anybody noticed any time? They frequently count the cash. The best example, if you can see, the bus conductor. They frequently count the cash and then they update the numbers in the some papers and all. Anybody noticed?
Correct.
Or anybody
Yes.
who is updating cash counter, because they are responsible for handing over the cash to somebody at the end of the day. Cash is always daily reconciliation. Is that true?
Yes.
Correct.
How these are done, you need to understand. It is not okay if you are able to post debit cash account, credit cash account, posting key 40, 50, anybody will do it. You do it with a logic that how it is done in a project, how it is done in any organization. One time effort, you will be able to understand any scenario anywhere. Similarly, bank. When you're looking at a bank will have so many interests. And to do bank reconciliation, you need bank statement. To do the bank reconciliation, you need bank statement. Sometimes even when you look at your bank account balance, you are surprised amount is deducted. You will not know why amount is deducted. And sometimes you are surprised you got some amount received. But we will not be happy that amount is received. But you still want to know from where I got this amount, why I got this amount. For that, you are dependent on what? Bank statement. You will try to go to your net banking, download the statement, and then see all the detailed description of the transaction from where it is received and all. Meaning, even in your day-to-day life, are you dependent on bank statement or not to understand your bank balance? Similarly, in any organization, in any project, every company will depend on bank statement. Now, these cash account, this bank account, are they P&L or are they balance sheet?
Balance sheet.
Balance sheet.
Cash account, bank account or balance sheet. Can I represent the bank balance, cash balance the way I want it? I can simply post an accounting entry, bank account debit, some dummy account credit for 10 crore. Can I show in balance sheet? See, I have 10 crores. Nobody will believe, right? They want proof. What is the proof? Balance sheet, bank balance proof is your bank statement.
Bank statement, bank reconciliation also.
Alright. Now these things will act as a proof, meaning when you're posting the entries, though you're practicing, though you're preparing now, make sure your practice, your preparation will have valid scenarios. So that in your mind, right scenario will get in, and then when you talk to somebody, you will talk the right content. Else, this is only for practice, let me post anything. Later on, these things will create big problem. If we post any entry just like that, it creates unnecessary problem. Slowly, when we are able to connect one point, and then if you add additional point, you can easily relate everything. You will see, surprisingly, you are able to write all the transaction. You will feel that, okay, let me buy something from so and so date. I agreed with him that I will pay after 1 week. Now, after 1 week means, if you, let's assume that you purchased something from me, or let's say you are joining SAP FICO training with me. Now, to you, I am a vendor or I am a customer?
Vendor.
Vendor.
To you, Ajay is a vendor or Ajay is a customer?
Vendor.
Ajay is the
Vendor. Let's say that you had a payment term. Most of you had taken a payment term of 2 installments. Let's say there is a 2 installment. You'll have to pay 10,000 at the time of invoice and 10,000 after 1 month. 1 invoice, 2 payments. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
1 invoice, 2 payment. Or assuming you have 1 invoice, 1 payment, which is to be paid after 10 days. Assuming you purchased invoice today or you received invoice today on 14th March and you are supposed to pay after 10 days. Then your payment will be due on what date? If you purchase today, your payment will be due on what? Assuming 10 days credit.
24th April.
After
Let's say
10 days.
24th April. After 10 days means 24th April. Now, there should be some report, there should be some mechanism how you will get to know what is my payable or when each invoice is due. You need this information or not. Accordingly, you will plan, right? Okay, on 24th, I need to pay 10,000. Let me arrange money. Or let's say On 24th, you need to collect money. You will remind your customer. You're getting my points? When you're looking at from a business point of view, from a purchase point of view, from a sale point of view, simple points we need to ensure. If you are doing business, if you have a customer, if you have a vendor, how will you deal? How will you handle your payment? How will you track your payment? How will you ensure this is paid, this is not paid, who is purchasing more, who is selling more and all? You need to have the proper reporting and how these reports are happening. Slowly we need to make sure we are able to connect the dots. Then once this is done, when you start recording the entries, you will feel the difference. That you are in a position to make your own scenarios, you are in a position to make your own example. And you will understand a scenario, complete cycle. And later on, we will have different kind of discussions. Like we have different people working in different projects. And then we will see, okay, in my current company, this is how purchases are happening. In my current project, this is how sales are happening. Then you will get to know. And then we will see with our current understanding, whether we are able to understand when somebody is talking, explaining their business process. Then you will feel practically, okay, now I think I'm able to understand. I'm able to relate. Tomorrow when you join any project, this is what you will see. This is what you have to talk. And the same thing when you're trying to understand from the beginning, it will add value going forward. Clear, right? To the extent of what we've discussed now, make sure these points you revise once, theoretically only. No need to do anything in the system. Just do revising these points on the Excel sheet. Try to write down your simple points. Then we will connect it with payment tomorrow. When I say with payment, before making payment, what is the balance? After making the payment, what is the balance? How you will receive payment? Different connecting points, we will do it. Then we will add additional points to the purchases. We will add additional point to the sales, which means with this basics only, we will try to understand different other topics of a FICO. Simple purchase, a simple sale will make you understand so many other topics very easily. Then when we get into each topic, you will feel that you are practically connected to what is happening, why we are doing it in SAP. All right.
Sir, do we need to post this or we will only refer the Excel?
Only refer the Excel sheet, nothing else is required. Just refer what we discussed now. Same thing, I will do it practically in the system. Then you will do the practice. I will tell you how you need to practice, what you need to practice. With numbers, I will write, as I said.
Okay.
At that moment, you will practically understand whatever you are creating. I want you to understand why these values are created and how you are creating the config. Then when you do the assignment, it is exactly the same way you do it in a project. And for that only we are trying to understand different small bits and pieces. Then when we connect everything, you are in a position to configure accounts payable in a clear-cut manner. Tomorrow, even if somebody is asking, you will not talk the config, you will talk the process. Okay. All right.
So, okay.
Let me stop this recording.
Sir, one
okay,
question.
the further question